Button ready?
Well, that's how we start the show. Is Jim asking for the bleep button ready? And welcome to this month's first episode of the Wise Guy Sports Show here on the Big Rican on Sports podcast. I am your host. I am the Big Rican. I am joined, as always, by my co-host of this show, the one, the only, the hockey-infused JC Blue Note, Mr. Jim Cornetti. And James, our first Wise Guy episode was entitled, What's in the Box? Because as I wear my Big Rican hat, which I do, by the way, all the time, I have since returned the favor. So I want to show everybody this first. I had the Big Rican logos, the former you've seen, the Mets version, the Ohio State version, which you almost got, the Browns version, the Cavaliers version. Yeah, you'd Hulk Hogan it. So I want to show everybody, I am wearing the Mets version of it tonight. And I would like to thank No Time for Design is the name of the company that did these shirts. They also did, if anybody who follows me on Facebook personally, all the Baby Shark t-shirts for Bobby's first birthday. So I want to shout out to them. This was awesome. So James, let's see what's in the bag, sir.
First of all, the bag. I'll try and zoom out a little bit here. Notice I have the address label on the other side, thankfully.
Now, he got this over the weekend, guys, and I made him wait.
Yeah, the problem is the package pickup in my building doesn't actually send out notifications. So I was in constant contact with you to figure out when it was delivered, because I didn't know if they were going to bring it to the envelope at the drop box in my complex, or if they were going to bring it over to the package pickup. It's going to be nice because now I have bubble wrap to annoy you with for the rest of the show.
I'd only be annoyed because I want to play with it too.
I just want to go to Staples tomorrow and just buy a big roll and just spend the weekend popping it.
Wait, have you seen the White and Nerdy video by Weird Al?
Oh, of course.
Okay, we're going off topic real quick because the movie comes out soon.
Yes.
So let's see what's in the bubble wrap there, sir.
Oh, that is sweet.
And this is the first time anyone's going to see this. This is the Big Rican Cleveland Cavaliers logo. So Jim and I, being Cavaliers fans, I figured this was the perfect one to grab him because the Blocko, again, probably would have been burned in effigy in front of me. The Browns one I had second thoughts on making. So wear it with whatever you want, buddy. Make sure you show it to your brother and everybody so they can start listening. Because that'd be awesome.
I think it's getting worn to to game night at Adams tomorrow night.
Nice.
I'd actually put it on now, but as you and I were talking just before we went on the air, it's 81 degrees here right now.
Yeah, it's kind of toasty here in upstate New York too. So Jim, let's dive right in because we are going to have a special guest hopefully very soon. He's actually doing his show on the Shakeback Media site right now. Willie Epting Jr. will join us for a very special reason. We will not dive into that reason till Willie gets here because I think you and I are going to have diverging points of view on that. And I want to hear his take from someone who's on the outside looking in. And we know the topic we're talking about. We said we were going to mention it with the last show that we did when it was on your show, and we kind of went a little crazy.
A little?
Okay, a lot.
Although this is going to be very special because we've actually been trying to get Willie on this show now for about 3 months. The draft show fell through and just coordinate, schedules and everything didn't match up. So this is ironically enough going to be my first live interaction with Willie. So I'm very much looking forward to this.
And I got to tell you, he is one of the greatest dudes you ever meet. He really is.
He and I are going to talk. He and I talked on Twitter earlier this week, and also with the group chats that you and I have with Alex. What a good dude.
Yeah, so Alex actually got the Mets logo one that I'm wearing tonight because the first gear I got from anybody I've done a show with, Alex actually sent me a Row 7 t-shirt about a year and a half ago. So you guys got that. The second run, I'm going to get Willie one. I'm going to get our buddy John one as well. But that's got to wait a little bit. So let's dive into some other stuff.
Alex can actually wear a team that's winning right now. Sorry, Alex. Your team's in the same division. I can poke fun.
Yes, you can. But since we're talking about divisions, let's talk about the team that was the first to 21 wins in Major League Baseball. Let's talk about the team that has still yet to lose a series on the year, and that is the first place New York Mets. I want to dive in a little bit with you because I want to get an outsider's opinion. They're doing this now. No Jacob deGrom. They have the third lowest ERA in baseball. They are doing this with inconsistent performance from the middle of their lineup. Oh, by the way, Starling Marte's hitting like a 230, but he's got 20-some RBIs. Alonso finally hit number 8 the other day when he went 2 bombs on Mother's Day. As a fan, I am in a very good place. So I know you're not the biggest baseball guy, but you have told me some things you're keeping an eye on. Have you seen what they've been doing? Or have you been caught up in Guardian fever, which now actually happened because they all have COVID? But
wow.
Listen, man, I'm not lying.
You're not, but dude.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm really not. At least I'm not doing what Naylor did the other night, which was epic.
Yeah.
He do that to the White Sox?
Yeah. It's we got to talk about that here in a bit.
So really, I want to get your opinion on something. Lindor has hit marks in April and early May that he didn't hit until late June last year in home runs and RBIs. More importantly, have you seen what Cookie's done?
Yes, I actually have their stats up right now. And just kind of going through it. It's just what, good for Cookie. It's Carlos Carrasco. Just with everything that he's gone through over the last 3-4 years. And just for him to be able to find his way, you'd figure 3-1 in 6 appearances, 36.2 innings pitched, and a 3.19 ERA. I mean, those are really, really good numbers. I mean, just trailing trailing Scherzer the way that it is, and of course, Scherzer basically striking out the entire planet right now.
Yeah,
he's a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
He really is. Let's see. Speaking of your former boy, 2 outs, man on third, bottom of the 5th. He is up with a chance to give the Mets a 2-1 lead. Lost James McCann today. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
Broken hamate bone, the old Jim Thome injury.
Wow.
6 weeks. He had surgery this morning. Apparently it's a fracture, so they just went in to stabilize it. But that's big. They called up a guy by the name of Patrick Mazeika, who had 2 walk-off ground outs before he had his first big league hit. So there's that. But I want to switch gears now because I'm going to do a Mets episode in the next few days, but it's probably not going to be till next weekend. If that, because next Friday we're going to the Bronx Zoo. Bobby got tickets for his birthday.
Nice.
I'm going to be laying in bed all day on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's a lot of walking. Plus it's the Bronx. As my mother-in-law watches the Yankees in the room next door. So let's get to the Cleveland Guardians. Let's get to a team that, guess what? I thought they were going to be better than people thought they were. And look at this. Look at this out of left field, this team. I want to talk about that comeback against the Chicago White Sox the other night, what Naylor did, who, by the way, that's the kid that hurt the leg gruesomely last year, right?
Oh, yeah. He's, the Jason Kendall type injury.
Yeah, because actually I was on with Willie that night with Natalie, who is we got to have Natalie on because she's as angry at the Browns as we are. She's the SI writer for the Indians. Natalie, the Guardians.
I've seen Natalie's work. I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, guess what? We need the swear jar because I just said Indians instead of Guardians.
You get a pass.
Okay, good.
We'll do it like Black Jeopardy. You get one, you get a pass. Like the Tom Hanks episode.
That one and the T'Challa one are my 2 favorites.
Yeah.
So
although
I want to
the only thing that's watchable about that show anymore is Weekend Update.
Yeah. They need to bring back the NPR skits.
They do.
Yeah. So I want to dive into this team a little bit with you, and then I want to get to one of the other inhabitants of that town. What did we guess wrong with? Is the pitching coming through, or is this lineup more potent than people thought they were going to be?
With everything that happened with this pitching staff last year, Bieber being in and out and really out for most of the year, and then just having to rely on a bunch of uncertainties, namely Triston McKenzie. With the offense, I think it's more so the offense coming around. It's because we knew that they had the potency, but could we really did we really know that Miles Straw was going to latch on this quick? Did we actually know that Quantum Mania was actually going to jump off the page? Owen Miller starting to come around, and very, very quickly, Bobby Bradley is now kind of the odd man out there, where he was originally thought to be the heir apparent at first base.
Rewind. I want to go to Quantum Mania because this dude is legit. I enjoy. There are a few players that I pick from other teams that I want to see what they do because I enjoy it. Quantum Mania is one of my favorites. I love Shane Bieber. I love Triston McKenzie. Of course, my heart is out there too, and I love Tito. But look, man, this dude out of nowhere, he is so good.
He's still hitting 298 after cooling off.
Yeah, you're hitting 300 after cooling off. That's Tony Gwynn type stuff. Not that I'm saying he's Tony Gwynn, but I'm saying that's Tony Gwynn type stuff. Let's see how it goes over the rest of the season.
Right.
So in the AL Central, the AL Norris, if you will, can they make a run at this?
I don't think so, because I think Minnesota is way ahead and got the potency to stay there. I mean, Minnesota's already up 2-0 in that one in the second in Minnesota for the weekend series. They have the Guards have the highest run differential in the division right now, and are 2 back, but they're playing 7-3 ball, but they're probably the streakiest team in baseball right now. Win a series, get swept, win 2 out of 3 against Toronto, play well against the White Sox. Who knows what will happen, because they never play well up in Minnesota, especially at Target Field.
I say, has that been a thing since Target Field opened? Because I can remember them going to the Dome when we were kids and just smoking that team.
Oh, yeah, they always could. I think it's just something since Target Field opened. They cannot play well up there no matter how good they are.
Mets had the same problem at Turner Field.
Mm-hmm.
They owned the launching pad in Fulton County, the original stadium. And then when they got to Turner Field, the Mets just couldn't win a series or save their life.
Right.
Turner Field opening for the 2000 Olympics. It took the Mets 6 years to win a series in Atlanta, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, I mean, I love the start by the Guards. I really do. I think that they can get a shot at a wild card.
Yeah, I think wild card is definitely within the possibility, considering how watered down the American League is. But if you're talking, I interpreted your question a minute ago as AL Norris. I don't see that, because I got a feel there's just something about me that thinks, even as bad as they are right now, I think the White Sox are going to turn this around.
Oh, I agree with you, and Alex will be happy that we think they will when he listens. Having said that, could a game like the other night when they got to the White Sox late, and Naylor, of course, drives in 8 runs past the 9th inning, was it the first time ever, or the first time in so many years?
First time ever.
I'm going to lump that one in because it was the night after the Mets did that to Philadelphia that you actually –
Yep.
If you have a minute, go listen to John Kruk and the Phillies play-by-play guy call the 9th inning.
Yeah, it's that one I'm going to pull up. It's all, but as good as any of that is, just John Boy's breakdown is just it's the coup de grace.
See, John Boy I like because John Boy has it's called Shea Station. It's a Mets podcast with Jolly Olive and one of my favorite Mets relievers of all time in Jerry Blevins.
Okay.
So I actually listen to them, and I haven't listened to the episode on that. The last episode I listened to was when they threw the combined no-hitter a couple weeks ago against the Phillies. Combined or not, and whatever you think of it, that was against a very, very potent Philadelphia lineup that had Schwarber, Harper, Real Muto, and Castellanos in the lineup that night.
Yeah. And who was it? Was it Syndergaard that opened his mouth?
Yeah. Thor doesn't know when to stop. And don't get me wrong, I love him. I really do. I honestly think that in his grand mind, he thinks he's going to go out there for a year, prove himself on the West Coast, and he thinks Steve Cohen's going to throw him a bunch of money next year. Well, guess what? If he did that, do you know what the Mets rotation would look like?
Yeah.
Scherzer, DeGrom, because they're going to re-sign Bassett, Cookie, and Noah Syndergaard.
It's the Indians from the 90s, or it's the Braves from the early 90s.
It would be closer to the Braves only because the Indians from the 90s just did not have pitching. I mean, when you had to bring in Dennis Martinez and Oral Hershiser at the tail end of their careers.
Okay, it's a wrong era. Probably the Indians from, last decade.
That had the Cookie and the who's in the rotation?
and Cliff.
Cookie, CC and Cliff, but then graduated when they went to that other World Series with Captain Underpants and I hate him too. Kluber and
then the guy out in LA we won't name.
That's Captain Underpants.
Okay. I wasn't exactly sure.
Come on. I saw on TikTok the other day he's throwing bullpens throughout all this. And someone said, "Hey Trevor, I got a little analysis in your curveball. Stop choking it so hard."
You warned me that we were on your channel tonight, okay?
I did, but I didn't. We didn't need the not suitable for work or the parental advisory there. I merely disseminated information that was on a censored platform because this guy is a very friendly for kids TikTok because all he does is baseball stuff. I heard that and I about fell. I was in the restroom. I about fell off. I was done. I was done. So you see, he got 2 years.
Yeah,
he's only going to serve one.
It's still amazing that an entire year for something non-PED related gone.
Here's my question for you. Do you think Roger Goodell's going to jump on the bandwagon?
That was the talk all over local radio.
How bad would that be?
I have so much hate mail in terms of comments for what I actually posted on the official Browns Facebook about the schedule game. And I said 4-13.
I saw that. I'm pretty sure I liked it.
Yeah, and that's just not being spiteful. That's like, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in later in the.
I think that needs to be on the Memorial Day show on your page.
Yeah, but the Memorial Day show, for those of you, unbeknownst yet, Mike and I came to an agreement that Memorial Day weekend, either that Friday or that Saturday, we're going to actually do what.
And there's his connection issue. So while Jim is frozen and not paying attention, we are going to do a Wise Guy show on Jim's page. The topics of conversation are going to be pretty different than what we normally do. Let me look at this here.
Wise Guys may part.
Your collection's going in and out, brother. You back with me? There you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Your connection went in and out.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I think the router reset on its own.
Oh, that's lovely.
But anyway, it's we're going to talk on my channel in 2 weeks. We're going to talk very, very little on topic. It's basically just going to be two old friends just basically sitting back and shooting the stuff for an hour.
and that's going to be fun because usually when we do the Wise Guy show on my channel, or even if you're a guest on the actual regular Big Rican show, there's topics that we're going to go over, and then we just kind of go from there. This is just going to be whatever's off the top of our head, which is going to be a lot of fun. Might get us in some trouble.
But it's on my channel, and I do have age restrictions on mine. I mean, we can, you know, I'm not gonna do. It's not gonna be as profanity laden as last time, but it's, you know, sit back, have a good time with the Wise Guys, crack open a cold one with the boys, and it's and we're just you know, we're going to talk our favorite sports memories. We're going to talk our favorite teams. We're not going to talk really. I think we're going to have maybe 2 topics the entire night. And then the rest of the show is just going to be us just, you know, having fun on the holiday weekend.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, Angry Orchard, hard cider, naturally gluten-free. Chang.
I might have to check that out.
Yeah. And they're actually from around here, believe it or not. They're up the road in New York State Apple Country. What is going on with this today?
That one was you, not me.
Yeah, I know that one was me. I'm hooked up to the extender, and it's sitting right next to me. Whatever that is. Anyways.
Yeah.
So we touched a little baseball. I want to go back to part of the topic from the Wise Guys show on your page last, which, not for nothing, everybody listening, we were pretty angry. And still, I still am. But I want to go back to what we were just talking about. If Roger Goodell does that, and he jumps on, and we're switching gears, Jim. Because now we have the man, the myth, the legend. He is the brains behind the Shakeback Media Group. He is the West Coast to our Midwest and East Coast brotherhood. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on the Wise Guy Show, Mr. Willie Epting Jr. Willie, welcome to the lunacy, my friend.
Man, what is going on? I appreciate you having me, Mike. What's going on, JC from the hell? Look, Melvin and the Blue Notes. What's going on?
What's going on, Willie? It's an honor, man. Mike and I were talking earlier while you were doing your show. This is long overdue. We've been trying to get you on for months.
Well, I'm glad to be here, man. I'm so glad that you guys have been so very patient with me, Mike. You know how much love I got for you. So yeah, man. Anytime I can jump on, I'm willing.
Well, we
No
are
pun intended.
Yeah, we are looking for your perspective on a unique question tonight. Now, this is something Jim and I have gone back and forth about, and we have had differing opinions, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Picture was put up online the other day. Of course, LeBron is out of the playoffs. You being a Laker fan, which is why we want to bring you into this conversation. Picture was put up online. He's hanging out with his boy, K-Love. He always hangs out with K-Love in the offseason. What no one saw until someone zoomed in was Cavaliers minority owner Steve Forbes was at this party that Kevin Love and LeBron James were at. Jeannie Buss is not happy. Willie, is LeBron James going home again?
No, he's not. And the reason.
Oh, shut up.
Well, and the reason why I say that
he's like here doing one of these.
Well, the reason why I say that is because if I'm not mistaken, he has another year on his deal, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
That's the reason why. The Lakers are going to want Colin Sexton, Jared Allen, the rookie from USC that they picked.
Evan Mobley.
Mobley.
Yeah, they're gonna want him. They're gonna want Darius. They're gonna want a combination of 3 to 4 of those players, along with a couple of throw-ins for LeBron James. Do you think that the Cleveland Cavaliers are gonna part with those dudes for a dude?
I do not, but let me ask you this. Is his pending free agency after next season, is that a possibility?
Yeah, now of course, then yes. So if we're talking about next year, no way. If we're talking about the year after that.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. Okay. So now let's spin it forward a year, because the Lakers are a mess. They are a mess because of because of Rob Pelinka and because of Jeannie Buss, believe it or not, because Jeannie Buss, to me, it doesn't. It's like having a person that's there, that's interested but not committed, and she's the owner. So I know there's a level of commitment that's there, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right as a Laker fan. So if we spin this thing to 2023, 2024, is that the right year?
Yeah. He's got 44 on his deal next year, and then he's a UFA after next June.
Unrestricted free agent. That's big. Okay, and then he'll be 39 years old.
Correct.
Does Cleveland want a 39-year-old LeBron James? I wouldn't.
If you put it, and Jim and I have talked about this, and I think this is where the Cavs would have leverage. First of all, the biggest part of him coming home the first time was that letter. And did you ever read that, Willie, the one he wrote in 2014? I'm sure you have.
I don't remember reading it, but
all right. Now, as two people who have ties to the land, that gave you goosebumps. I mean, it honestly did. I still read it today. I still have the Sports Illustrated that they did where they published it, and I read it every now and again, and that it gives me goosebumps because then I remember being at a game in 2015. I remember sitting there watching the 2016 finals and watching the greatest comeback in NBA history. And then the two other runs to the finals where it took a hired assassin by the biggest little girl in the league, Draymond, to beat that Cavaliers team.
I thought you were going to say KD.
No, but it wasn't KD who was in the parking lot crying in his beer, calling him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Michigan State too, so you already know I don't like him.
Right.
So would I take LeBron if he had an understanding that this is not the Mike Brown Cleveland Cavaliers? This is not the David Griffin Cleveland Cavaliers. This is the Kobe Altman. What's the new GM's name?
Good question. I don't know.
I can't think of it. I was going to say Mike Chernoff, but that's the GM of the Guardians.
So Kobe Altman's running this show. JB Bickerstaff is a very good coach. And had they not had the injury, just absolute decimation toward the end of the year, you're
Mike
talking
Gansey.
about Mike Gansey. You're talking about the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. That's how good they were.
Mm-hmm.
Would I take a LeBron James that understands, bro, this is your last hurrah. You may start because you are better at the 3 than someone we have, but this ain't your team. Homeboy running the point. If they keep Colin Sexton, the guy running the 2, the big fro in the middle, it's their team. You're a piece. We think you're the piece that brings another championship to Cleveland. I can stomach that. James, the adverse, please.
I could. That would be the only way that I'm on board with this at all. But here's the problem that I have. He's going to be 39 years old, as Willie said. The Cavs are 35 million over the cap. He's going to be 39 years old. He's still going to be a top, at the very worst, a top 20 player in the world. How much are you going to pay him? And oh yeah, there's the elephant in the room that if he's on the roster, whose roster spot is he going to take up? And are they going to have to give up a second one for his kid?
See, yeah,
that's
the question.
That's what nobody's talking about.
See, well, you and I talked about it a little bit because
Briefly.
because even when he was there the last time, in 2018, his final season, people were starting to talk about, oh, wait till he comes back and Bronny's with him. No one saw them building this roster this way.
But
no one's.
But how much control are they going to have, even if they get LeBron? How much control will they be able to actually have in getting Bronny?
It all depends on how they build this core over the next couple of years.
But they would have to. I mean, but Bronny is going to be probably a lottery pick,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think if what we see with the growth of this team and the growth of Lauri Markkanen and Isaac Okoro and Evan Mobley. See, I am a Cavs fan. I know all these names. And Garland and Sexton, which I hope they don't have to make a choice. Will Karis LeVert stay?
Right.
This is a deep, deep team.
There's one more name you actually forgot. They got to actually make a decision on Kevin
Yeah.
because he's a UFA after next year.
I don't think Kevin is there if they're going to go after LeBron again.
So in 2 years, Kevin Love is a unrestricted free agent.
Same year, LeBron's a free agent. K Love's a free agent.
Yeah, if they have to make a choice, that's going to be an easy choice.
It's going to be LeBron. As much as, listen, Cleveland people love loyalty, and K Love showed us some serious loyalty when everybody left and ran out the building, and he signed a big deal to stay.
Yeah,
I wanted a Lakers fan's perspective on that because, yeah, they were a hot mess this year, dude.
Yeah, and when you think about Russell Westbrook and the $47 million that will be owed to him if he foolishly decides to opt out, it's going to be a hand, and he's not going to opt out. He will be, amazingly stupid to opt out of $47 million because he ain't getting that nowhere else. And they're not, and you're not going to be able to trade that contract. So he's basically handcuffed the Lakers for the next 3 years, essentially. I said, this is what I say. You can move LeBron James, but he's going to command a haul back. And for him to be moved this offseason or at the deadline in February, it's going to take a massive haul to get what the Lakers are going to feel to be equal compensation, or at least relatively equal compensation. So the Lakers, I believe, should move away from Anthony Davis.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that, Willie.
I'm gonna tell you why.
I can't believe we're all on the same wavelength, by the way.
Yeah, Anthony Davis, dude, is a easily a top 10 talent. Okay, but the best ability is availability. I don't care how much talent you got. It don't do no good if you in the hospital or if you are on the bench. So he's still relatively in his prime, relatively, if he can stay healthy. But a lot of that has to do with his off-season workouts and conditioning, how he takes care of himself. But if the Lakers can move off from him and get, I don't know, I would love to have Bradley Beal with LeBron James next year.
Ooh.
And then it's LeBron James's fault that DeMar DeRozan is not in Los Angeles as opposed to being in Chicago, because he wanted Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan. He wanted Westbrook over Buddy Hield from Sacramento, or he's not even with Sacramento. Yeah, he is. So go ahead.
I don't think anyone saw Russell falling off like this. I mean, if LeBron had a crystal ball, you know dang well DeMar DeRozan would be in yellow and gold and purple. No one saw Russ doing this.
But here's the thing, though, Mike. They're the same kind of player. LeBron and Westbrook are the same type of player in the fact that they both have to have the ball. They have to.
Yeah, but the difference is LeBron may be ball dominant, but LeBron is still, I've said this to you before, and I think I've said it to Jim, and I said this when he came out. LeBron is the second coming of Magic Johnson. Never mind Michael Jordan. LeBron was put here to be a 6'9" point guard.
Right. So
as ball dominant as LeBron has to be, he's willing to pass the ball.
But Russell Westbrook is not. And I'm not going to say that he's not, but when you have a playmaking point guard like Magic Johnson, LeBron James, or whoever, you got to surround yourself with shooters. Russell Westbrook shot, 23% from three-point range, and his mid-range game is going, and his athleticism is starting to wane, and he is the most athletic point guard that we have ever seen in this league. I have anyway. So when that starts to go and you don't work on your shot, dude, you're nothing but a shell of yourself, and you're kind of self-check. That's why he got benched so many times in the fourth quarter.
Could be worse. He could be Ben Simmons. I'm
Ben
sorry.
Simmons. Ben Simmons. That's another debacle in itself.
Wait, Jim, are you digging a grave?
Yes.
I mean, that guy. I mean, and for people who have said that Ben Simmons is a jump shot away from LeBron James, I will slap them in their face.
Okay. I will say this. He may not be a jump shot away from LeBron James. But let's talk about all the other things he's not far away from LeBron James on. Like, oh wait, no, he doesn't play much. He's selfish. He thinks he can play defense, but he checks somebody who's 7 inches shorter than him. Am I getting close on Ben here?
Yeah, there's a lot more. Keep going.
He'd rather play with Kyrie than Joel Embiid. There's a stupid trait. Jim, you want to help me out here, bud?
He's very, very quickly approaching in terms of like number 1 overall picks. He's quickly, in my perspective, he's more Michael Olowokandi than Kyrie Irving.
Oh,
well. Wait a minute. We have injury issues. He could be Greg Oden.
Yes, that was the other name I was kicking around for a minute.
But
you knew I was tossing out the Buckeye.
But does he really have injury issues?
Apparently, they opened up his back the other day.
Yeah, okay. I can tell anybody that's what happened.
Oh, I know.
He hadn't played any basketball in over a year.
Well, what do you expect? His best teammate's a flat earther that went to Duke.
Who's losing his shoe contract?
Is he really? Good for him.
Really? That's according to reports that are coming across within the last couple of hours. Nike is on the verge of not renewing Kyrie's shoe contract because of his availability, in terms of the fact that he will not get vaccinated in the state of New York, which means he's not going to be playing upwards of 40 games a year. Well, and Nike is not going to produce a shoe for a guy who only plays 30 games a year.
Well, yeah, they lifted that though. So
New York lifted that for the athletes.
Yeah,
but here's the problem.
But he's also injury.
Here's the other problem. My county in New York starting to spike again. So let's see what happens.
Right.
So, Willie, I want to go down another rabbit hole with you. You, Natalie, and I touched on this briefly on opening day. And it's not baseball related. I will do a Big Rican baseball show where you, me, and Alex will dive in.
Okay. I can't swim.
That's
I'm sorry.
I can't.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet.
No, Willie, trust me. This show is where you can do things like that. So, Willie, I want to go down a rabbit hole. The rabbit hole that Jim and I spent a profanity-laced tirade on our show on his nuts. He even had the parental advisory explicit lyrics thing on the episode. We went in on the biggest debacle that is in the NFL. And if Jim and I are talking about it, you know what we're talking about.
I'm not going to do the impression.
I'm going to give you my issues with this move on field. I don't want to talk about the off-field stuff because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I know $230 million will buy a lot of fentanyl-laced pudding pops, but that's not the point here. The Cleveland Browns handed $230 million to a guy who, when he's not playing in a dome or under a retractable roof, is a 500 quarterback. They handed $230 million to a guy who the first snowflake he saw in his life was when he reported to Berea. Oh, I just punched my closet. When he reported to Berea in April in Northeast Ohio. They handed $230 million to a guy who's a 500 quarterback outside of a building, and he is guaranteed 11 games outdoors every single season. And did you see that the Browns close in Pittsburgh this year in January?
Yes, I did see that.
Here is my question to you, sir. What kind of glue is Jimmy Haslam sniffing And why do you take a team that was an injured quarterback away from a Super Bowl run and hamstring your franchise for the next 5 years?
The Kool-Aid is strong, my brother.
Wait. Don't say that. That could get us in trouble.
Okay. The Powerade is strong, my brother.
Okay.
I don't know. You figure Jim Jones, Jimmy Haslam, it's
okay. I get where he's going. I get it. Okay.
See, saved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So look at it from this standpoint, because the owners or the brain trust of the Browns could be like, yo, the grass is greener on the other side, but is it? Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield.
Agreed.
That's it. He's a better
But here's my problem with it. Ask Jim. I acquiesce that point. He is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. I get it. He's already quit on one team when it didn't go exactly the way he wants to.
Wait, no, you can't. That's not fair now. That's not fair.
He said he wasn't going to play another snap, and then all the stuff came out.
Right.
After they traded DeAndre Hopkins, he said he wasn't going to play another snap.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the stuff came out. He didn't play last year for two reasons. One, he told him he didn't want to play there anymore, and two, everything came out.
Right.
My question to you then is this. If this goes the same way, what circle of down below are the Cleveland Browns going to end up in with the salary cap implications that come with this contract?
Oh, my gosh. You think it's bad with having Baker on the hook for almost $19 million this year and them not being able to get rid of him? They can't cut him. They can't trade him. I mean, they could.
It's terrible.
Huh?
It's terrible, but this contract is why they can't trade him.
Yeah and no. I mean, Baker kind of look. I actually like Baker Mayfield. I think
Same here.
I think he's a decent enough quarterback to take your team. I mean, because he's shown it to us. But I think the Browns have gone from the frying pan straight to the fryer, because I think they were fed up with Baker's off the field antics. But then they bring in a guy that's got 20 some odd sexual assault cases pending civilly. And they have a lot of explaining to do, because they have essentially said that we are siding ourselves with a guy that's got all of this baggage off the field, but you are siding with this other guy that has not only a baggage, he has an airplane filled with baggage that he's landing at, what is it, First Energy Stadium, like right in the middle of the field. So the fact that I think the Browns may have made a mistake when they picked up the fifth-year option for Baker Mayfield, but they did the right thing by not extending him like other teams did with their quarterbacks.
Well, let me. Somebody brought this up on local Cleveland Sports Talk, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Willie. We talk about the contract being 5 years, $230 million. I'm sorry, that's technically inaccurate. The contract is 5 years, $250 million, because not only are you paying Deshaun $230, you still got to figure out what the hell you're doing with the $20 million that you're owing Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I said this to Jim before, and this was my plan. And if I was the GM of the Browns, what I would have done. You picked up Baker's fifth-year option after the season he was healthy and after the season he was productive. I mean, I don't know of a team that wouldn't take 3,500, 28-6 every day of the week, because that was his numbers in 2020. Very
good numbers.
Okay. We all, and you hate the Chiefs, so you'll agree with me on this. They're a bad call about a helmet-to-helmet hit away from going to Buffalo and slapping them around and going to the Super Bowl. That was a helmet-to-helmet on Hollywood. We all know it. The Chiefs played dirty. You agree with me. You got the Raiders hat on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I would have done with Baker after last year, because we all know if Baker would have gotten this team to a Super Bowl, he was getting paid.
Right.
Okay. So
Oh, Flacco.
we the difference is people in Cleveland like Baker. The plan I had after last season would have been this: sit him down. You're going to play next year. You're our guy. We will not extend you till after the season. There will be no discussions. There will be nothing until the final gun of the final game this team plays. So if he goes out and has a season like he did in 2020 with the extra game, you're talking probably 3,900 yards, 30 to 32 touchdowns, 6 to 10 interceptions on a run-first team. Then I sit him down in the offseason. I go, your boy Brady took less to keep a Super Bowl winner together. Here's $28 a year for the next 5 years. Here's a signing bonus that we'll start paying you the day you retire until you're for 20 years on. You're financially set. Yes, it's the Bobby Bonilla contract, but hear me out.
Thank you. That's the first thing I thought of when you said it, bro.
Shut up. Listen, man, the Braves are still paying Bruce Sutter. And if he says no to that, the Browns come out of this smelling like a rose. But then they have their draft capital. And then you trade 2 first-round picks after you've picked up a wide receiver at 13 this year. Last time I checked, there's a pretty good quarterback down Route 71 in Columbus who's going to come out after next season. Then you get 5 years. Then you get 5 years of CJ Stroud under a controllable cap number, and you build that team around them and do basically what Seattle did with Russell Wilson. And you come out smelling like a rose.
My only problem
because Jacksonville's going to get the number 1, and they don't need a quarterback.
Right. My only problem with that, though, is how are you going to really be able to control that CJ Stroud is going to be able to land in your lap? There's too many.
You trade for the number 1.
You trade for the number 1. Okay.
So you send your 2 first-round picks you saved by not making this deal to whoever your first-round pick in 23, your first-round pick in 24, and lower stuff in one of those 2 years. There's not a GM on the planet that's trying to build a roster that would say no to that.
But here's another variable too, Mike. What happens if Stroud says, I'm going to stay another year?
Draft a kid from Alabama.
Bryce Young.
Yep.
A more athletic Baker Mayfield. Stronger arm Baker Mayfield.
No, Baker's got a cannon. He's still got the longest throw. He's still got the longest throw in NFL history. The Hail Mary at the end of the half against Baltimore in the game of the year 2 years ago traveled 76 yards in the air.
Okay. I'll give you that. But
if you're basing what you saw last year on him,
he was injured.
There was every single quarterback guy said, yeah, this is what's doing this. And I don't know why the only reason I think they played him, they set him up.
Yeah. I like conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist and I don't believe in QAnon, but that's neither here nor there. But I do like discussing these types of things because of the what if factor. What if Devontae Adams had decided to stay in Green Bay? What if Tyreek Hill would have taken the offer that the Chiefs gave him because they traded him because he wanted more than what they were willing to give him?
Yeah. So the thing that annoys me more about this is that Jim and I lived through them leaving. Jim and I lived through them coming back and being an aberration of what one of the proudest, and they may not be Super Bowls, but they have 8 league championships of what one of the proudest and winningest franchises had to go through to get to the point that they were at going into the 2021 season. We waited a long time. I mean, Jim even followed him to Baltimore and was a Ravens guy. Topic for another show.
We'll cover that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Memorial Day. I think what annoyed me more about it is 2 things. One, this was a move made by the owner. This was not the guy, Andrew Berry or Stefanski, who put this team together. This was Jimmy Haslam. He's the same guy who wanted Johnny when they could have had somebody else. You love Johnny. He's from your neck of the woods.
I don't have a problem with Johnny Manziel.
Oh, I don't either. I find him hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like him coming out of college? Just off topic?
I mean, I didn't think he would be what he was in college. I didn't think that he was worthy of a first-round pick. Just being in this area and the way that he was chronicled in terms of his off-the-field stuff, and I knew it wasn't going to last. But now he's throwing footballs to T.O., so what can you say?
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in the fan control league.
With T.O.? That's awesome. Good for him. Good for him.
My brother's into that.
You know what the thing is? I was in Cleveland the night Baker took the field against the Jets. I was at my sister's house. You know, South Euclid, Fay Drive, right off of Trubisky there.
Yep.
Jim. I was 20 minutes from downtown. I left the next morning or the next afternoon to go see Dwayne Haskins play against Tulane at the Horseshoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's your Baker story. I was there the day he got hurt against the Texans in the opener last year, so I apologize.
That's okay.
You can put that on me.
No, dude. No. I put that on Baker for throwing a stupid pick and trying to tackle the guy.
No, I actually, if you go back and look at it, the receiver quit on the route, and that's why the ball got underthrown.
They had a bunch of them that did that last year, but that's a film episode for another time.
Right.
I had never been in a city that's pulse changed in that moment. He jogged on the field, dude, and you felt the electricity in the eastern suburbs. And when he came on, I mean, he was zinging the ball. He had zip. He played hard. People were telling quarterbacks in that draft not to go to Cleveland. He's like, bring it. I will play. I will do whatever I can to help you win. And this guy, because if you're going to blame the quarterback for everything, you then got to do the opposite. And he wasn't. He had a talented roster. He's got the best backfield in the league. He had a great offensive line. He had all these things. But if you're going to blame him for everything, you got to give him all the credit. He brought them to the point where we honestly believed they were getting out of Kansas City with a W and onto the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And then an injury-plagued year, and you just turn on. I get it's a business, but I thought the team that represented that city that I love so much was better than that.
And you'd also figure, and we've brought this up multiple times before, talking about this since the end of the season, Mike. You know, yeah, they were a play or two away from going to the AFC Championship game, going up to Orchard Park. As bad as he played at times last year, they were still in the playoff hunt until the second last week of the regular season in that conference.
And had a defense that gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter in LA and couldn't stop your boy Derek Carr just one time. You busted my chops that night. I'll never forget it. But I mean, Willie, I think what it is I understand it's a business. I get that. Mm-hmm. I've lived through Manny Ramirez leaving the Indians. I lived through Darryl Strawberry leaving the Mets. I get it's a business. This felt personal to me by the front office and the coaching staff towards him. Mm-hmm. Because as much as Andrew Berry wanted to say that he told Baker, listen, we're going to try and upgrade the position. You're our guy. You were out on this dude until you promised him $230 million. Because never mind the contract, let's cut all the garbage. He didn't go there for Amari Cooper or Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt. He went there for $230 million signs, and let's be done with it.
All guaranteed.
That's what it is. And that's why Baker hasn't been traded yet. There have been Schefter's in on it. Rappaport has said it. Not Fowler, the other one from ESPN. Mortensen. There are no NFL owners willing to do the Browns a favor because of the contract they handed to Deshaun Watson. Because now Kyler Murray is going to ask for this kind of contract. Don't be shocked if Allen or somebody else wants to renegotiate their deal.
Mm-hmm.
They have hurt the entire market by trying to do what the media told them to do.
God, I didn't even
When
think
you-
of that.
When you had a guy who, when he was healthy, got you to the playoffs and played well.
Mm-hmm.
He exercised the demon in Pittsburgh.
He
Pittsburgh.
played well against Lamar Jackson every time out too.
He never lost to Cincinnati and Joe Nasty.
Yeah, but in that defense, it's they were Cincinnati was garbage the first year, and then they always play Cincinnati well, even when
That's the Battle of
Cincinnati was
Ohio
good.
thrown out. Yeah, it's a Battle of Ohio thrown out. So I guess that's what gets me on it, man. And now you guys just signed Derek Carr to a big contract. What's your feeling on that?
I like it.
I think you would.
I'm gonna tell you why. This is, of course, before anybody knew that Devontae was coming. But who's out there better that you're gonna get? Who's better? Marcus Mariota? You gonna give him a deal? You gonna trade for Matt Ryan? Carson Wentz? Who?
And he's in the building.
Yeah, and who actually the Raiders were embroiled, for the lack of a better word, in rumored trade talks to get Derek Carr to the Colts. I don't know for who, but he was going to go to the Colts.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
See, I liked Baker there, but I honestly think that Baker Mayfield will end up with the Seattle Seahawks.
Regardless of how many times Pete Carroll wants to deny it.
And here's why. I saw something funny today. It said top stories of the NFL in the first 3 weeks were Russell Wilson torches Jamal Adams for 5 touchdowns in week 1.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was hilarious.
Juju and Patrick Mahomes' brother come together to do TikToks at the 50-yard line. And week 3 was Seattle trades for Baker Mayfield after Drew Lock throws 5 picks.
And then week 5, it was DK Metcalf and his dad go online and start trashing
Stop
Baker.
it.
I saw the graphic. I saw it about 20 minutes before we logged on. That made my night.
So
because it had a storyline for every week of the season.
That was great. Last question on football. I want to jump to something else quick. Was Odell Beckham's production with the Rams because Cooper Kupp is a better wide receiver and people were double teaming him, or is he still an elite guy?
You want me to go?
What?
You want me to go?
Oh, no, that's directed directly. I know what Jim's answer is. He loves Cooper. He's a Rams guy, too.
Okay. Wait a minute. You're a Browns and a Rams guy?
I was actually a Rams fan before I was a Browns fan. Just
Okay.
something about
He
that
like
blue
Chris
ball.
Everett.
Shut up.
Jim
I've warned,
Everett, man.
I've warned you about that. Shut up.
I'm sorry.
That's okay, man. That made Jim Rohn's career, man. That whole thing. He wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for that.
I know.
Is Odell Beckham Jr. still elite? I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. has been elite since he left New York. Not elite, no.
Aha.
Not elite, no. What he is very, very, very good.
Yes.
But we will see after a second torn ACL
Yeah.
if he's even still very, very good.
See, and the thing is, I don't like the way he got out of Cleveland. I had a real problem with it. But you don't ever wish that, especially on that stage and how good of a game he was having.
Oh, if
in
he
that
doesn't
game.
pull that thing out, he rips the Super Bowl MVP and he runs away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was having a great night. And I was sitting here watching it. And of course, I only really watched it for the halftime show. Because that was amazing. I was happy for him. You want to see guys you like to watch play do well. And I was happy for him. So, Willie, we started the show talking about our Guardians and our Mets. And I have to say, Thank you so much for Chris Bassett and Starling Marte. And
Don't thank me.
listen, Marte has been as good as advertised. Are you surprised he's still playing right field?
Not at all. He can play
Really?
He can play any of those positions out there.
Didn't he win his Gold Glove in Pittsburgh in left field?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I was checking the score in the Met game. 1-1 Mets against Seattle.
I'm checking the NHL playoff games myself.
Hey, Jim, did you happen to see what the Mets did the other day?
I did.
In
because
releasing Robinson Cano?
You ran it down my throat for an hour.
Hey. The release of Robinson Cano?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I saw that too. And immediately I thought back to what we talked about.
On opening day?
Well, it was actually, it was opening day, yeah.
And the Padres just signed him earlier tonight, didn't they?
Are you serious?
Yeah, according to ESPN, the Padres signed veteran Cano to add spark to offense.
Wow.
That's not going to help them or him.
No.
Well, no, I don't think it will, because Petco Park is like,
it's built for right-handed power hitters.
yeah, but it's a pitcher's park though.
In the gaps, it is. Bartolo hit his home run there. I don't know how much of a pitcher's park you got with Bartolo. Cologne's going deep.
An anomaly. You come on now. You know that wouldn't Petco Park is a pitcher's park.
You know, it's been 6 years since that happened already.
6 years. How old is he now? Like 60?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's the modern day Satchel Paige.
He's not quite Julio Franco.
Oh my God.
Who hit his final home run there too when he was with the Mets.
That's crazy.
It is. And I did not know Cano signed in San Diego. Here's one thing I like about it, though. And, Jim, let me throw this one at you. Veteran left-handed bat in between Machado and Tatis.
Yeah, but I think the thing with the Padres right now is they're going out and trying to get way too many names as opposed to players. And it all started with the Hosmer deal a few years ago.
Mm-hmm. Hey, did you guys notice Mike Clevenger was wearing pigtails the other day?
Yep.
He's always been a lunatic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another thing we touched on before, too, Willie. How about your boy Trevor Bauer and that suspension?
Yeah, I talked about that. I talked about that in a couple shows ago, and he's going to get another chance, believe it or not. He's going to get another chance. After 2 years, he's going to get another chance.
That's a lot of innings not on his arm.
Exactly. But not only that, he's one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
It's not like he's give me a mediocre pitcher. Anybody.
Garrett Cole. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to start calling you Ric Flair. You're the dirtiest thing in the game. You're just low-blowing guys all night.
Exactly.
Listen, they don't call me the Petty Rican for nothing.
Right. No, I think that, and the fact that he was not guilty, well, I shouldn't say not guilty. The fact that he wasn't convicted.
Charged.
Yeah, charged. Yeah. There's a difference between the two, because I don't know if you guys saw it, like a week later after that, another lady came out and said the same thing that the first lady said.
Yep.
So where there's smoke, there's fire.
There's fire.
Where there's fire, there's a barbecue grill. Yeah, well, at least at my house.
Listen, the big part of the Big Rican is not because I have a giant ego. I'm a big dude. So when you say barbecue grill, I got you. Well, listen, Willie, I want to thank you for your time. You have been a wonderful guest. I will get to you with the Big Rican show, baseball show. But hey, look at this. You want this one?
Or
I have the Blocko for Ohio State, which again, Jim was going to Hulk Hogan his if I gave it to him. I have a black one with the Cavaliers version of my logo that you've seen with the shield and the sword. Actually, Jim, that's the one Jim got. Was that one there?
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. So when I do the next run, I got to get you one. I got to get John one.
Okay.
There's the Browns one, which is the orange dog face on a brown T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm
so
with
just
that.
let me know. Just let me know which one. It's going to be a little bit because I got to spread some stuff out. But yeah, I got to get you guys. Alex got the Mets one because he's always been the baseball guy, and I got the Row 7 shirt for him. And of course, Jim is the one that made that for me. That I wear this like every day.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one that Jim has.
The Cavaliers one? I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Willie, thank you again so much for coming in. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Y'all be good. Talk to you soon.
It's been a
Take
pleasure,
care,
Billy.
All right. Bye-bye.
So he's always fun. And I'm sorry I kind of took that over with going with him. It's just
dude, trust me, dude. It's well worth it.
Oh yeah.
Anytime Willie wants to come on, you make time for Willie.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And the cool thing about him is, like us, he's interested in more than just the one. Like he really, the Brothers of Baseball show, and then the family of baseball extra frames one that him, Natalie, and I do. That's where I met him and where he did a lot of stuff. But he's gotten into him and I have talked. I mean, he was on the Ohio State show talking about Michigan and Ohio State. He does NFL stuff. I did a pre-season episode with him last year where he had a bunch of people on, a bunch of us from Cleveland, believe it or not. We're Browns fans. So always good to have Willie on. So we got about 10 more minutes on this because I hear there's a certain someone who still hasn't gone to sleep yet. But let's dive into your NHL playoffs. A couple of Game 7s coming up, including the Hurricanes will host Game 7 against Boston. Is that tomorrow night?
Correct. And actually, according to right now, your Rangers 3-3 in the third against Pittsburgh. Rangers win. There's Game 7. End of the second right now. The President's Trophy winning Florida Panthers 1-1 against the Capitals. Florida looking to close out there. And then we got Calgary and Dallas tonight. That one's 3-2. Think about this. If the Stars, and I actually kind of almost wish we would have brought this up with Willie, because Willie Willie sent out a thing not long ago about who can teach me hockey. And it's and I said, dude, just watch a game with me. Although the problem is it actually would have been me subjecting to watching a Stars game, knowing how diehard of a Blues fan I am. But
nice.
If you think about this, the only two teams that have advanced so far are the Colorado Avalanche, who swept the Nashville Predators, and my Blues took out the Minnesota Wild in 6. The Blues actually in that series, after losing Game 3 to fall down 2-1, only trailed for 18 minutes and 16 seconds of games 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Wow.
I'm sorry, games 4, 5, and 6 en route to that. If the Dallas Stars, Washington Capitals, and New York Rangers win, we are going to have, and get your popcorn ready for this, Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Johnny Gaudreau, the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning, Austin Matthews, and the President's Trophy winning Panthers all going to Game 7 in the first round. And that's that's not even including the Carolina-Boston series.
Which is big because Boston, I think, is a team that's built for the postseason. I looked a little bit at their roster. Plus, my brothers-in-law are both Boston fans.
Although we actually we're friends with them going way back. It's how many more pictures can our boy Seth Landesman post of him at Carolina games this season?
I think he's doing it more for the beard blog he's doing.
We got to actually do a high school we got to get him. We got to get Rice. We got to get a whole bunch of people. We got to do the old BHS reunion. That's got to be
Oh,
one
there's-
night.
No, we got to have your brother on first.
Would my brother actually come on to talk sports, though? He probably wanted to talk wrestling.
If we did it on your page and we could be uncensored, I think Frank would do it.
Yeah, it's if I see him tomorrow night, I'm going to certainly broach that.
Broach that topic because I would do a wrestling show with you guys.
Yeah, it's
But
we got to
go. We got to go.
We got to watch it. We got to get you to watch a little bit of AEW though, even if
We
it's
gotta
just
go-
like YouTube clips.
We got to go old school and start with the Boiler Room Brawl from the arena in 95 or 96.
Yeah, we'll throw some ECW in there. So,
So-
let me go ahead.
Oh no, I was to say what you said you wanted to ask me something earlier. What was it?
Yeah, it's on. Let's actually go back to baseball here for a minute. You said you were
Okay.
actually
Oh,
going to touch on a piece that
Your
I
blog, yes. Your blog. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, nor did I get a chance to watch the video. But let's spend the last 5 minutes. Let's talk about what your latest entry was on that. I did not see what happened. I do not tune into those people from that borough. I hear about them because people watch them. But what happened the other night?
It's a 3-0 game, bottom of the sixth. Blue Jays are up in the Bronx. Giancarlo Stanton hits a 3-run homer to that step stool of a left field wall.
Yeah, left field's farther than right field, but go on.
It's still. Did you ever see the movie Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck?
Love that movie.
The stat came out that when Stanton hit this ball into left field, it would have not gotten out in left field in any other park in baseball, and it would have actually just been a long single. What was the line when he actually started taking batting practice in Japan for the first time? I could pee over that fence.
Yes.
So Stanton hits the 3-run home run, drives the Yankee faithful into a frenzy. Relief pitcher for the Blue Jays, who actually gave up the home run, Garcia, Yimi Garcia.
Yep.
On the second pitch to the next hitter, Josh Donaldson, hits him in the upper part of the left arm.
But you have to pitch Donaldson up and in order to get him out.
The Yankees go ballistic, thinking it was intentional.
Okay.
And
Crybabies.
the umpires tossed him. No warning. Two innings later, the Jays are up 5-4, still batting, and the Yankees throw inside on one of the Jays hitters. I can't remember which one it was, and Toronto's manager immediately questions why he didn't get run, why the Yankee reliever didn't get run, because that one actually looked, it looked a lot. Neither one looked intentional, but the one that the Yankees threw inside on Toronto on definitely looked. It could have been interpreted a lot more than Garcia going in on Donaldson. For their trouble, Toronto's manager and their pitching coach then get tossed. Again, there's not a warning that's been issued. Has this been, with some of the controversies we've seen and short hooks by umpires and blown calls, has this been worse in the first month than the entire NFL season last year? Because it's been bad.
Let's start here. Let's start with the New York Mets have been hit the most in Major League Baseball. There still has not been an ejection.
Yes.
Let's start with one of the players from the Mets for pushing a guy out of the way got thrown out a few weeks ago. But the coach who came off the bench and tackled Pete Alonso from behind didn't even get a fine. It's not that the umpiring.
Nolan Arenado in that brawl a couple of weeks ago only got a game.
Yeah, and he's a big baby. I told you that.
Yeah, and me as a Cardinals fan, yeah, I'm going to stick up for my guy. But yeah, I thought that one game was very light for that.
Yeah, considering it didn't need to be you have to pitch Arenado inside to get him out. So any season that has Angel Hernandez on the baselines is a bad season.
Thank you. I actually have here Angel Hernandez I have it on my notes. Angel Hernandez is the worst official in the Big Four sporting leagues.
We thought it was going to get better when Joe West retired. We were wrong. Look, I will say this about the umpiring. It has been bad. I am more angry that, I don't know if you saw it, but Dom Smith had a strike called on him. It was a breaking ball that went around the plate. It was actually almost in the right-handed batter's box, and it got called a strike. Max Scherzer got tossed from the bench.
I saw that, yeah.
I mean, and listen, there are certain players who get a pass when they're talking strike zones. I think a guy with nearly 3,000 strikeouts and the second most 10 strikeout games in Major League Baseball history knows the strike zone pretty well. Let him go. It's been bad. It hasn't been good at all. It's been really bad. And I don't know what they can do to fix it. You're talking to robot umpires. No, because when you uniform the strike zone, you're going to take all the strategy out of pitching.
You know what? I actually have that here is at the very least with the, I mean, do they actually, try to configure it? Do they maybe kind of use a model like what ESPN does or Fox where they kind of tailor it to the hitter?
See, the thing
as opposed to keep it uniform. It's because if you think about it, you're still going to need a home plate umpire for, foul tips into the glove or close plays at the plate. It's not like these guys are going to be completely eliminated to where you're not going to need them.
Here's what my thing is on it. And yes, it's been bad. Yes, they need to do something. But when I became an umpire, and South Euclid baseball, they taught you letters to knees, plate. You can uniform the strike zone and not take the strategy out of pitching. Because when you have a strike zone that you chest to knees, inside, outside corner, is the guy going to miss a call in the outside corner? Yeah, but he'll miss it on both sides. A pitcher will get a call, a hitter will get a call. And when that happens, as a pitcher, you can go an inch off the outside corner and get a strike, which means a guy's going to have to swing, which means now you've got a pitch you can get a guy out on. Same thing on the converse, on the inside corner. The high strike is not called enough, in my opinion. That would mitigate some of these circumstances because now you got guys calling balls on the shins when you're supposed to use the bottom of the knees because you're not getting the high strike. So you know what? The high strike, whatever. I'm going to just get it lower. It's just as bad. They need to do something, but what I think they need to do is, first things first, you need to have a uniform rule and code when it comes to throwing guys out for throwing at people. You got to give a warning every time.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example, last year, Mets-Yankees Subway Series, weekend of 9/11. You got the third game, Lindor hits 3 home runs, Mets win, but they had a bench-clearing incident. They accused the Yankees of whistling, who also were cheating too, but we won't go there. They were accusing the Yankees of whistling because the guy was tipping pitches. And when Lindor hit his second home run, he did this to Gio Urshela, saying, yeah, you want to whistle, go ahead. We're still going to beat you. And then Stanton hit one and started talking, and then you see him and Baez, those two crazy Puerto Ricans.
And then it turned into dodgeball. Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't need to turn into dodgeball. What it needs to turn into is, okay, when you have a situation like that, give a warning before the game. You threw something, and you can't tell a pitcher he can't throw inside because he's got to get guys out.
Yeah, because the problem was with the Toronto and Yankees game the other night, and I'll actually try and send you the video after, probably sometime tomorrow, is that the crew chief for that game got reported by was reported to him by the home plate umpire because the crew chief was at first base that night that Donaldson and Toronto catcher Tyler Heineman were kind of saying stuff to each other. Now remember, now Heineman and Donaldson were not teammates when Donaldson was with the Blue Jays 4 years ago. And the decision was made to toss Garcia to diffuse the situation before it got worse. Here's a guy who just gave up a 3-run homer and hit a guy on the second pitch in a tie game in the 6th inning. What about
He's not throwing at him.
Reed's intent?
Yeah, no, he wasn't throwing at him. And again, Donaldson's swing, he's got a borderline left-handed hitter swing. He goes down really well. They call him the bringer of rain because he hits the ball in a mile in the air. So you got to pitch him up and you got to pitch him in.
Yeah, I mean, it was like getting him here, but I mean, Garcia said, and we've seen this a lot in baseball this year. He said the ball just got away from him, and there's a lot of pitchers that are coming.
Bassett said it too.
Way too slick.
Yeah, Bassett said it too. A couple of the guys, even Cishek from the Nationals, said something about it after he hit Lindor in the face. You and I could do a whole show on this one, but I have actually got to wrap this up now. Mm-hmm. So, Jim, outside of the next 2 weeks, what do we got? 2 weeks from now, what do you got boiling up?
I'm going to do a little bit of a kind of an impromptu playoff thing. It's not going to go on the blog. It might actually go on the YouTube channel. I might actually put that up tomorrow. I want to actually see how the 3 games shake out tonight. Rangers win 5-3, so there will be game 7 on Sunday. But we'll talk about that. Capitals are up 2-1, trying to even that one up, and Calgary and Dallas just got started. But it's just going to be kind of winging it. We'll actually do a little bit of baseball. I've been writing about that a little bit more. But really, this is where I'm actually really starting to get focused on the NHL regardless of even if my Blues get, let's say, swept against the Avalanche, which hope to God that doesn't happen, but
got you.
Does. But again, we'll be back in 2 weeks as well, and we're gonna go off. We're gonna have some fun.
Yes, we are, and I will actually come at everybody hopefully next week with that Mets episode I've been trying to get done for the last few weeks. But signing off for the first half of the May episode of the Wise Guy Sports Show, for JC Bluno, I am the Big Rican, and let me tell you something. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a lot of fun, guys, and if you don't get the second one, happy Memorial Day. Oh, we're going 4 horsemen.